Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? Well, this is Jazzy, and welcome back to What's the Damage? Okay guys, so here's the thing. Now, today's topic is going to be something that might just maybe rub some of you the wrong way if you're like over 60 or 70-ish, you know. I actually have a friend who's over 60. She's a really nice lady. She lives in Canada. I love her so much. And I'm not including her in this argument here because she is actually the rare exception of somebody who's, you know, a little more advanced in age and actually is still very intelligent, you know, very smart person. I love talking to her. And so I wanted to get that out of the way because I'm going to be talking about people today around her same age group who are just very, well, stupid. You know, people who are just dumb, you know, and how fake news is bringing all of the old people in the world down. Let me explain why. A long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, just over the border of the United States where I grew up, my parents bought me a computer. You know, well, actually bought us a computer. We actually used it at home, you know, but I used it a lot to play games and stuff, you know, and the internet was still starting to become a thing. The internet was just a little bit different. You know, we were starting to use it at home for personal use, you know, not a lot of work. But the point is that, you know, I was exposed to the internet at a very young age, you know, and back then it was different, you know, and my parents would always tell me, they would always warn me very fervently, you know, be careful with the internet, be careful with what you see online, you know, be careful with things like sexual predators or things like, if the fake news thing started to happen like much later, you know, when there were articles circulating around that would give you false information, you know, as per the term. But back then they just told me to be careful, as any parents would, with you know, phishing and spam and people who were up to no good, you know, that kind of thing. So back then, we're talking about like the late 90s, early 2000s, my parents, for example, were very restrictive and protective of me on the internet, you know. Now here's the thing, as the years have gone by and the internet itself has become something much bigger than anybody could have ever imagined, you know, I think that my parents, or actually pretty much everyone's parents who are around my age, you know, like the last generation, you know, the last generation was Generation X, I guess it's Y or Z, the generation of our parents, okay? If you're close to my age, if you're, you know, in your late 20s to early 30s, you know, our parents, you know, they're the ones who I'm trying to talk about here in this video, because I think that as time has gone by, they have gotten a little bit dumber when it comes to the internet, you know, because back in the day, they would try to warn us about things online, the dangers of using the internet, you know, this and that, but today it's the exact opposite. Like today, they're the ones who are believing literally anything that they see online, you know? It's like parents back in the day were like, you know, hey, be careful what you see online. Not everything on the internet is true, you know? And today it's like, hey son, so Facebook taught me the earth is flat, you know? It's so cool, you know? And what's really crazy is how they believe it without even questioning. You know, like, I don't know, like your old man might go on Facebook and see something talking about a new theory about the earth being flat, and he will just, pun intended, flat out believe it, you know? Without even like looking it up elsewhere. I'm the kind of person who looks things up a little bit too much, you know. I do a lot of research into things, you know. That's why I have a YouTube channel, because I give you guys different kinds of information, you know, that are educational and whatnot. So it's very common for me to research things, you know. I'm a very big fan of learning. So whenever I see something online that seems fake, there's like a little alarm that goes up in my brain or something, you know, that tells me, okay, this might not be real, so let's look it up first, you know, especially before I share it or even make a YouTube video about it. But my parents, and I'm sure many parents, you know, of the last generation are the same. They just share whatever the hell they feel like it without even consulting anything else first, you know, and that's how fake news starts to spread the way that it does. Now, I obviously can't generalize, you know, not every parent is like this, you know, like my parents, for example, are very like this, you know, and a few of my other relatives too, but I think maybe they've gotten to a point where they're just lazy or something, you know, they don't really care anymore. But it's so hilarious because like fake news and clickbait especially, they can spread like wildfire, you know, and before you know it, so many people are sharing and talking about it, and it's like, I don't know, you see some fake news about a celebrity who was dead, you know, I don't know, let's say for example, I'm gonna use him as an example because this actually did happen some time ago. There's a rumor going around that Sylvester Stallone was killed in a car accident, you know, and then for example, your mom or your dad might take that and believe it and share it on Facebook, and then their friends around their age are going to do the same thing. They're going to share it and share it and share it. Next thing you know, like hundreds of people think that Sylvester Stallone is dead, but he's actually alive. And this actually happened with my dad when he saw an article that just the title title said Sylvester Stallone, the actor, dies at whatever age he was at the time, you know? And he believed it without even opening the article. And then he told me, so hey, did you hear about Sylvester Stallone? He died. I was like, what? Huh? When the hell did Sylvester Stallone bite the dust? That doesn't make any sense because I use the internet a lot more than my dad, you know? And I am on Twitter like pretty much every single day, you know? Very, very frequently. And Twitter to me is like a newspaper. That's where I get my news. And Twitter is usually very accurate when it comes to actual world news, you know? There are some fake news that circulate here and there, but it's very easy to track it down. But the point is that I went on Twitter to find out if Sylvester Stallone was trending. And believe it or not, he actually was, but not for that reason. He was trending because people were saying that he had died and he was still alive. And he himself tweeted saying, look guys, I'm okay. No wait, no sorry. I gotta do that a little more properly. He was like, hey yo guys, yes, I'm okay. What's up? I'm okay. You know, so that just made me sound like I have brain damage. But anyway, the point is, guys, that I mean, Sylvester was alive, but because a few people shared a fake news article that had a clickbaity title, a lot of people believed it, you know, and that spread worldwide, but well, not worldwide, I don't think it was that big of a deal, but it did spread a large amount of panic. So at the end of the day, fake news, aside from being annoying and irritating, can also give people the wrong information for the wrong reasons, you know, and that's not cool, man. You should always try to give people as much accurate information as possible. And when it comes to the internet, you never really know what actually truly is accurate or not, you know? And I think that the generation, our parents today, they are the exact opposite of what they used to be, you know? They used to tell us to be careful with what we see online. Now we're the ones who are telling them to be careful with it, you know? Like I can't really like, I can't even put a number on how many times I had to tell my parents that something that they saw wasn't true, you know? And they would swear their lives that it was real because they saw this and that. There was one instance where my father, he saw a very shady video of the actress Gal Gadot doing something pornographic, you know? And like, I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but it was a video that I have to say, to its credit, was very well edited. Yes, edited. You know, you can clearly see that it was the CGI head of Gal Gadot, how can I say, not photoshopped. Let's just call it video shopped onto another actress's body while she was doing the business, you know, with another guy, another gentleman. So now my dad saw this and he was actually convinced that it was real. Me being the kind of person who I am and also being an informatics teacher who knows how to edit videos, I saw the thing and within 5 seconds I knew it was fake. It's like one of those really well-made deep fake videos, you know, which I have to admit are very realistic and are becoming actually a lot scarier now that I think about it. Look, the main takeaway of this video is that you cannot believe everything that you see online. That should be obvious for people like us, you know, around our age gap, but even people my age can fall into clickbait, you know, not really clickbait, but we can actually fall for fake news. But there's no problem with you being lured in by a clickbaity title and believing the fake news. That happens. We're humans, you know, but what you can't do, or what you shouldn't do, is share it because you think it's real, you know? Always look something up before you share it with other people, you know? Or even record a video about it on YouTube. There are a lot of videos that I've recorded in the past that, like, for example, there's a really old video that I recorded talking about the existence of the Megalodon. I'm gonna leave a link to it here if you guys wanna go watch it later. It's an older video, but it's still the same style as my current videos. And that was a really good video. It's one of my personal favorites on my channel where I talk about the Megalodon and this and that, you know? However, I used a few images in that video that I later found out were fake, you know? So it's like, okay, so it's an example of me believing something, you know? I probably should have looked it up a little bit more, but then again, if I had, the video probably would have been a little different, you know? And I still think that it was cool to leave it the way it is, even if somebody later corrected me in the comments saying that the photo was fake. So yes, I could have put in a little bit more research into that, but at least the people who watched that video and commented on it were able to speculate, you know? And that's what I want my videos to do on this channel. So today I'm much more careful because my videos, as you guys may have noticed, are much more are more produced now. They're much better produced, you know? I put more research into it. There's better editing, you know? So I try to give you guys the best possible viewing experience here on this platform, you know, at least on my channel. So like, I try to research a lot and I never share anything unless I'm 100% sure that it is fact, you know, or fake, you know. Like for example, I'm trying to debunk something and I will give you guys the info about it. Like when I did a video talking about if your voice can really trigger an avalanche, you know. A lot of you might have thought that it was actually possible, but the video proves that it's actually not, you know. So imagine if I had said that it was without researching it, you know. So that's a good example. So don't be like your parents if you're around my age, you know, because today they believe pretty much anything they see. Because once our parents and our grandparents, and I'm gonna leave grandparents out of this because they're much older, so they're a little bit more innocent, but when our parents got a hold of, you know, smartphones and tablets and computers, you know, they were much more susceptible to fake news than we were back when we were kids, you know, and that's really saying something. So it's funny how it's just so inverted now, you know, it's the exact opposite, but still. That's how it is, guys, you know. So be careful when you're browsing online. Just be careful with what you find, okay? I mean, imagine our parents using something like the deep web to freaking traumatize them. But I think that's it, guys. No, I really hope I got my point across, you know. And fake news is making old people who used to be very wise just really dumb, you know. It's annoying because like somebody who's old and elderly, they're gonna see something online and believe it's true without even questioning it, you know. We're talking about somebody with like so many decades of experience and wisdom, you know. You guys should know how to question these things, you know. You can't just take something and believe it at face value. You have to question things, you know. You have to like, wait a second, that doesn't seem very true, so it probably isn't true. At least that's the way I think. So that's what I think everybody should do, you know. But that's just me, all right? That's just how me, Chazzy, thinks, okay? But shout out in the comments below letting me know what you guys think about this, you know, if you have if you have been victims of fake news and clickbait every now and again, you know, and tell me exactly what happened. I'm really curious to hear it. And also, if you happen to like this video, then give it a thumbs up because I post videos literally every single day on my channel, sometimes one, sometimes two. So also subscribe and hit the notification bell to know exactly when my content is going to be coming out, okay? So, I think that's it for today, guys. I've rambled on the elderly long enough now. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.